Hi parents and families, in this video we're going to address how you can support math growth at home through simple everyday activities. Okay, so the most important thing before we get started is understanding the math they'll need. I think that a lot of the times, whenever people think about elementary school math, they get frustrated because it's very different from the math that we learned whenever we were in school. Whenever we were in school, the focus of math instruction was on being able to figure out the answer to an equation. And that is a small piece of math that we call computation. Now we recognize the different components of math because the other components are more applicable now than they've ever been. Frankly, students are always going to have calculators at the tips of their fingers. Right now we do. As adults, we have phones, we have tablets, we have computers. There's not really ever a time when you need to solve complicated math where you don't have the tools available. Now, that being said, it's really important to have fluency in math, and it's really important to be able to find an answer quickly because you don't want to always be pulling out your phone. You don't always want to be trying to get out your computer to do a simple multiplication problem. You want to be able to solve that in your head. But a lot of the times people want to they want to substitute using the computer with just using paper and pencil. And we want to push students to the point where they can do it completely mentally, without technology and without paper and pencil. So to do this, we really have to build a solid foundation in what we call number sense. Number sense is an understanding of quantities of numbers and the relationships between quantities and how numbers interact with one another. So basically what this means is that what students need now more than ever isn't to be able to do the pull the one style of addition, or to be able to just write out a long number and know what the grammar is for that. They just don't really need that as much. Those things are important, but those things are a tiny piece of the puzzle. What they need more than anything is they need to understand how math works so that they are able to apply it, and so that they know when it's necessary and what aspects of math to pull from whenever they face challenges as they progress in their math learning and later on in their career. So to support math at home, these are some things you can do in first grade. First grade is really important because it really is essential to building that foundation in number sense and in building what we call fluency. Fluency is an understanding of quantities and understanding how quantities come together to form other numbers. This includes things like place value, understanding inverse relationships, being able to understand that 2 plus 3 equals 5 is the same thing as 3 plus 2 equals 5, so being able to switch those add-ins, understanding fact families, 5 minus 3 equals 2, 5 minus 2 equals 3, 3 plus 2 equals 5, 2 plus 3 equals 5. So understanding those different relationships really builds that foundation that they will need for the rest of their life. So let's get started. The biggest thing that you can do to support your child in their math growth at home is pointing out that numbers are everywhere. There are numbers everywhere in life. When you see these numbers in the world, point them out to your child. You see them on menus, you see them on road signs, on the phone, and in recipes. whenever you see these numbers, just talk about them with your child. Ask them, hey, what is that number? What does that say? What do you think that means? Why is that there? Whenever you ask these things, it helps them understand math as a problem-solving process. And ultimately, math is problem-solving. And we really want students to understand this conceptually so that they know when to apply math, because that's what it's all about. It's all about application. As you're thinking about ways you can implement math at home, I really want to encourage you to use your resources. On our class website, there are so many resources that are available. There are different printables that are available. There are different websites that you can go to support your child in math learning. There are games. There's my contact information. So if you are still looking and you're like, I don't even know where to start, let me know, I'll help you. But use your resources. And the internet is a wealth of information. There has never been a better time to learn math. There are YouTube videos all the way to adaptive gamified learning platforms that help your child learn math. They give them an opportunity to practice it within the context of a game that they're interested in. So use your resources. Think about what you have available to you and really use that. Take advantage of it. That's what it's there for. Some activities that you can do at home to support math learning: games, recipes and shopping, and sports. So with games, there are many different games that support math learning. Card games are wonderful. Uno's great. Go Fish is amazing. War is fantastic. There are all kinds of different games that really help with math growth. Any games that you can play with dice, like Yahtzee, or just any games you can play with dice are really good because those teach what we call subitizing. Subitizing is being able to recognize a quantity and associate it with a numeral. So like if you see this, your brain automatically thinks 4. It takes a while for that to develop, and if we do it intentionally, that happens a lot quicker. So things with dice, things with cards, awesome. Recipes are really good. Keep in mind that they might not be able to do like the fraction part of recipes yet. We haven't learned that in school yet. They aren't going to learn that in school yet. They start to get into that just a little bit. We partition shapes, but they don't really get into fractions until 3rd and 4th grade. So they aren't going to be able to get you like 3/4 of a cup if you hand them like a huge measuring cup, unless you've taught them that. But like if you tell them, hey, I need 3 scoops of this and this is the scoop size that I need, they can do that. And that can be really important for them to develop an understanding of quantities and to understand how we use math in real life. And you can still show them the fractions because that will motivate them to want to learn about it. They'll see it and they'll be like, oh, hey, this is a place where we actually use it. And then whenever they see fractions as they get older, they'll have that recognition piece, and that will help them work it into their memory a lot easier because it already has like a little seed. And then that seed is just watered and it grows and grows. But planting the seed is the hardest part. Shopping is also great. So like if you go grocery shopping, even if you do like click lists, like I always do the Walmart grocery pickup, you can see the prices of like everything that you're buying. So show them the prices and explain to them what that means. And you can also explain to them how the prices add together to form your total. I think that a lot of things like that, like we take for granted that kids understand it, and they really don't until it's pointed out to them for the first time, and then it's like an epiphany moment. So try to point those things out to your kid to help them understand where math is in relation to money and in relation to stuff. Like Silly Putty is a lot cheaper than a set of Legos. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but like help them understand those things and understand what that means. And sports. Sports are great. Playing sports and watching sports. Those can be great opportunities to teach math. There is almost always a measuring component in sports. A lot of the times that's behind the scenes and it's not pointed out. So if you're playing a sport or if you're watching a sport, point that out to your child. Like if you're watching football, point out those yard lines and explain what that means and explain how far apart they are from each other. If you're playing cornhole with your family in the backyard, point out how far apart they are. Get out the measuring tape and show them so they can see how it's measured. And then also obviously in the scoring. So that there's great repeated addition there. If you lose points, there's some subtraction. And they also have to compare numbers because whenever you're done, they have to know who won and who lost. And that is a great real world example of comparing numbers and understanding, well, Jimmy won because Jimmy had 10 points and Joe had 8, and 10 is greater than 8. So understanding those relationships are really valuable to understanding math. Please reach out to me if you need any materials, resources, if you're just confused or if you don't understand like the way that I taught math for some, like if you're watching your child watch a video on how to do something and it makes no sense to you because you learned it totally different, that is totally fine. That's super normal. So if you are ever in that boat, reach out to me, let me know, and I will help you. I will explain it to you. I will explain why we're doing it this different way than what we learned, and I can walk you through that. So just let me know if you need any help. Bye.